Yes,
Sir, I want to know about doing research on the derivatives also. If that part is also being highlighted a little bit, it will be beneficial, sir.
Research. Okay, let us see. In the end, once I
Yes, sir.
discuss about all these things, what type of research can be done, let us try to discuss if time
Yes.
permits. Okay, one is research. Then any other points to be discussed? That's it. Okay, then let's move on. The first thing is like, let us try to understand which are the securities which are available for trading. Hope all of you are able to see Chrome screen. So as I told, I'll try to take the data from NSE. Whether it is NSE or BSE doesn't matter. When it comes to list of stocks which are available for trading, it will be same. So go to market data here. Under market data, we have derivative market. So we have products here. You can click on products. These are the different products. So if you want to understand which are the products available for derivatives, you can click on about equity derivatives here. In the about equity derivatives, you can see here what exactly is the derivative, all those things it is given. Now, which are the products available? It is mentioned here, Nifty, and which are the other indexes which are available. Along with that, we have contract information. If you click on contract information, you will get to know contract specification, selection criteria, list of underlying and information. See, if you click on this list of underlying and information, you're going to get the list of stocks which are allowed for trading. You can see here in NSE, we know that we have two different exchanges. One is NSE, other one is BSE. In NSE, we have Nifty 50, we have Bank Nifty, then we have Nifty Financial Services. These are the three index which are available for trading. Whether the screen is visible, are you able to see the screen?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes, Professor Satya. Yeah, we are able to see the screen.
Then you can see the list of stocks which are there in the trading. So these are the list of stocks. If you look at, we have 156 stocks which are available for trading. So if you want to download the list, what you have to do is directly go here, download this contract specification. The moment you click on contract specification, you're going to get this list. Okay, contract specification, which are the contracts, underlying symbol, all those details will be there. Let's click on this products. Under products, we have individual securities in F&O. Under individual securities in F&O, go down, there is something called download the file for permitted lot size. So what happens if you download this file? With this file, one is you're going to get list of stocks and also the lot size which is permitted for trading. So if you once you download this list, you're going to get this F&O market lot. Open that CSV file, it will be CSV file. Hope you're able to see the Excel file. here you can see which are the contracts which are available for trading and also the lot size along with the expiry. If you look at these, so we have three index, whatever we have seen that one is Bank Nifty, we have Nifty, financial services, we have Nifty 50. These are the three different index which are available for trading. Along with that, they have given expiry. Say May expiry, we have all the contracts, whatever you see, we have May expiry. So at any point of time, we'll be having three expiries: May, June, July. Today is the last day for your May expiry. Once May contracts will expire, you're going to get August contract. So tomorrow when you see, you will not be able to see May contract, you'll be able to see August contract. So one is lot size is given for Bank Nifty, it is 25. Nifty Financial Services, it is 40 is the lot size. Nifty 50 is 75. I know, like, I hope like everybody knows what is lot size. That is the minimum number of shares which are allowed to trade in the derivatives. So how these lot sizes are decided is the question. So earlier when they started derivatives in 2000, the contract value, what we call it as contract value, is your market price of your future market price into number of shares allowed for trading, or I'll call it as minimum number of shares. You're going to get your contract value. That is what is your contract value. Now, when you have this contract value, they say check, okay, a minimum contract value, what they're expecting is 5 lakh rupees. Now, it was earlier 2 lakh rupees. Now, they decided it is going to be 5 lakh rupees. So, 5 lakh is the contract value, what they're expecting, divided by your market price. What are the spot market price will be there? So, suppose tomorrow if they want to add some stock to the derivative contract in India. So, they'll check what is the market price. They'll not check exactly previous day, maybe 1 week or 10 days before they decide what is the market price. So if market price, let us assume it is around 350 rupees is the market price, then the lot size will be decided like 5 lakh divided by 360. That is how they are going to come to this particular lot size. If any odd number comes, they are going to round it off. That is why you can see all the round figures here. It's coming to 1,429. Instead of keeping 1,429, they can keep it as 1,500 shares, something like that, or they can keep it as 1,450 shares. So you'll be able to see here, that is how the Bank Nifty is derived, the quantity is derived. And also, this will not be changing on a regular basis. Once in 6 months, expert committee will sit, they'll revise. If they find, okay, there'll be too much of changes in terms of your market price, then they're going to change your lot size. For example, the 350 rupees, what it was quoting, if it goes to 600 rupees after some time, obviously, like what happens, your lot size, what we decided is 1,420. Suppose if the market price goes to 600, your contract value will be more than your 5 lakh rupee.
Hello.
So it will become 8,57,000. So it is difficult for anyone to trade with 8,57,000 because we know what is the risk involved in this derivatives. Like this, they are going to come out with the contract size or lot size. So Nifty we have 25, Nifty we have 75. Then when it comes to individual stock, you can see here, individual stocks have lot size, Aurobindo Pharma 650. So like this, any particular stock, if you want, you can check it here. We have Bajaj Financial Services 125. The price might be high, around 3,000, 4,000 shares. Bosch is 50. Like this we have. Let me see if there is MRF here, because MRF, you can see here, lot size is 10, because we know what is the price of your MRF. It's around 65 to 70,000 rupees or 80,000 rupees. That is the reason the lot size is 10. So based on your price, the lot sizes will be decided. Second thing, I would like to explain the same screen, expiry. So I told you, like, minimum there will be 3 expiries. As of now, we can see this May, June, July contract. Only for Nifty and Bank Nifty, there is extension in terms of your expiry. For Bank Nifty, we will be having expiry for 1 year in India. So 1 year means it's not every month you'll be having. First 3 months you'll be having continuously month on month. As of now, you can see this May, June, July. After third month, you'll be having quarter end. So that means every quarter, September, December, March. So you can see here, this is what is for Bank Nifty. So maximum you can trade in the future contract for 1 year in case of Bank Nifty. But when it comes to Nifty, it will be for next 5 years. December 2025, if you're expecting Nifty to be around 50,000 rupees, if there is a seller who is available in the future market, you can trade in Nifty futures. December 2025 is the expiry for that contract. You can hold till that time by keeping your margin and MTM. You just keep that money and you can enjoy your position. That is possible. So for Nifty also it is same thing. Initially first 3 months it will be continuous. After that it will be quarterly for 1 year. After 1 year, from second year onwards it will be half yearly contracts. So this is how you can see here till 2021 you have December contract 21, then we have 22, we have March quarterly contracts will end. After that we have yearly contract, half yearly contract, June December, like this it will continue for next 5 years. This is how you can download the lot size and find out how you can trade in the derivative market. When will be the expiry? It is very simple for financial derivatives. Every month last Thursday, that means that respective month. If you talk about June contract, June last Thursday, that is 24th. July last Thursday, May last Thursday. That is today is the expiry for your May contract. This is how we can download and keep your contract size as well as your expiry day details. So one is your contracts which are allowed for trading, lot size we have discussed. Expiry also we checked. So at the same time, if you want to check like what exactly, when is the expiry, one is you can check with the calendar. And also for Bank Nifty and Nifty, we have weekly settlements. That was not shown here. I'll show you here what is this weekly settlement. Every Thursday you'll be having a settlement only for this particular index. One is Nifty as well as your Bank Nifty. Let's click on index futures. So one thing like we should be clear whether you want to check index or stock. If it is index, always you choose index and index futures. Here you can see the expiry. So I told you like other than index like Nifty and Bank Nifty, all other contracts will be having one expiry in a month, whereas these contracts will have one expiry every week. You will be having an expiry. That means every Thursday will have an expiry. If you look at this, this is your Nifty contract. We have 27th May, that is today is expiry. Next expiry is 3rd June, that is next Thursday. Then after that Thursday, we have one contract which is expiring. Like this, every Thursday you have an expiry for only Nifty futures and your Bank Nifty futures. So instead of taking Nifty futures, let us say that, okay, if you want to check for any other contract, let's say Reliance or something like that, if you want to check, there you can find it will be only monthly contract, monthly expiry. So for checking Reliance or any, if your underlying asset is a stock, you should select stock futures or stock options here. You can see here only we can get May, June, July contract. Tomorrow if you open, you'll get June, July, August contract. This is how we can check when is the expiry and what is the price. Now I'll continue with the same, this stock futures of Reliance. So if you look at here in the same screen, you can see this underlying value. Underlying value is nothing but your equity market price. So Reliance in the spot market, it is trading at 1,982 rupees 25 paise, whereas in the futures now you have to check like which expiry. Suppose you want to check for May expiry last traded price is 1,982.65. See, almost it is same because today is the expiry, because we know that there is something called convergence in case of your derivative contract, where as and when you approach you approach your expiry. I request all the participants to mute if you're not talking.
Satya sir, it's not audible. Please unmute. Sir.
Somebody is muting.
Okay, fine, sir.
Okay. And when you approach your expiry, your basis will go down. That is, the difference between your spot market price and future price will go down. See, same thing if you look at June contract, we have a difference of around 10 rupees here. June futures are trading at 1992.7. This is last trade price. This will be around 1 or 2 minutes delay, or maybe around 5 seconds. Otherwise, I have to refresh, keep on refreshing. Let us take this is a price which is trading in the market. I'm taking directly from NSE. 1992.7 is the futures of June contract, whereas spot market is 1982.25. Now the question is why we have to pay 10 rupees difference. 10 rupees more is the question. That is what we are going to understand when it comes to pricing of future contract. Practically, your spot and future will not be same. There will be obviously difference. Sometimes it can be futures will be trading in premium. Sometimes they'll be trading in discount. When they'll get into discount is whenever your markets are bearish. So only very few people would have seen in 2008 what happened. Like 2008 market started tanking. That time all the future contracts were in discount because the expectations were market to go down again. So that is the reason. So if you look at May contract, the difference is not much because it is going to expire today. And today is if any open contracts which will be there, which are not going for physical delivery, those contracts will be closed at spot market price. So if you look at July contract, again, the difference is around 18 rupees. Because when it comes to July, you have another 2 months to expiry. When it comes to June contract, you have another 1 month to expiry. So we'll try to understand why this difference, whether this difference is okay or is it the difference is too much. Is there any arbitrage opportunity which can be done, which can be utilized to do an arbitrage? We'll try to understand. This is how we can find out the pricing of your future. Suppose you want to understand what will be the historical data, just click here. All historical data for this particular contract. If you click here, it will ask you for how many months. Now NSE has started charging for more than 1 year data. If you want data for more than 1 year, you have to pay to NSE, or you can take it from different website. We have Money Control, we have Yahoo Finance. There also this data is available. You can go for that. So suppose let us assume, or you can specify the date, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, or 1 year. Let us check how to download 1 year data. If you click on 1 year, no need to select the date. It will come from yesterday, 1 year back. It will go there. Stock futures, it is coming. What is the expiry you want to take? See, practically, if you want to download 1 year data, it is no use. We all know that, okay, maximum cycle of a contract is 3 months of reliance. So there's no meaning in downloading data for 1 year, especially for future contracts. If you want to download equity market, yes, it is possible. You can download for 1 year, 5 years, 6 years. Again, more than 1 year data, you have to pay money to the exchange. That is there. Let us try to download last 1 month data. For same May contract, stock futures, year of expiry is 2021. You need to specify which expiry you want, whether you want for May expiry, whether you want for April, May, June, July. These are the 4 contracts which are available. Let us take it for May expiry itself. Filter. If you click on filter, you're going to get this data here. Here, you got a futures, May futures contract, details from April 27th till May 26th, till yesterday. You're not going to get today's data. It will be coming only once the market closes. Now, instead of copy and paste this data, what you can do is, you can see here there is a one icon called download. That will be CSV file. Click on the download. Okay, I've chosen May expiry. Okay, click on download and save that file wherever you want to save. Once you save this file, you can open that file. One thing you should be careful is this will be in the descending order. That means latest data will be first. Straight away, just don't jump and start using this data, because we all know that suppose you are going to find out, okay, daily returns. If you want to find out, you're going to use this daily price returns. So first you need to sort this data so that when you want to use this data for any calculation purpose, it will be easier. Sort it out in the ascending order so that your oldest data will be on top, your latest data will be on bottom. So that is how now you can start using your calculation of your returns or whatever it is. So suppose you want to find out what is the return. Normally what we do in the equity market is we're going to find out your log returns. today's closing price divided by previous day's closing price, you're going to get your returns. So that is how you can calculate your returns. That is possible like this. So if you want to convert that into a percentage, directly you can convert into percentage and keep the data. This is how you can make use of this futures data. So similarly, you can calculate even not necessary. Now in 2021, we have only 4 months. That is April, May, June, July. You decided. Suppose you want to take data for 3 months. Let's say 3 months, and you can. Okay, as I told you, like if it is more than 1 year, you have to pay in case of NSE, that is not available. So if you pay like similarly, you'll be able to download the data. 2020 data is not available here at free of cost. Okay, so I was discussing about the price difference in terms of your futures. Let us say 1 day, or let's go to live market here. Spot is 1982.25. Futures are trading at 1982.65, or your June is trading at 1992.70. Let me note down this data. We have May contract, we have June contract, we have July contract. Sorry. And your May futures are trading at 1982.65. June futures are trading at 1992.70. And your July futures are trading at 2000. Let us try to find out, is it fair price, whatever the price at which they're trading. To find out that one, we use cost of carry model in the futures. That is nothing but your pricing of futures. It is not actually valuation of futures or valuing a future. It is called as a pricing of futures. So we all know that we are going to use this formula to find out your pricing price of a future. F is equal to S naught into e to the power of RT. S is your spot price. E is the exponential value we use. And one thing we need to understand, in our derivatives, we are going to use only continuously compounded interest rate. We are not going to use any discrete interest rate. We are not going to use any compounding which is done annual basis or quarterly basis or monthly basis, not even daily basis. We use continuously compounded interest rate. That is the reason we are going to use this exponential value. So F is equal to S naught into e to the power of RT. Rate of interest, you can decide whatever the rate of interest, and also the time for expiry you can decide. For example, now if you take the spot price, the spot of your Reliance is 1992.25. That is what is your spot price, is nothing but your S naught. Now, if you put this 1982.25 spot price and rate of interest, you can decide. If you take even the treasury bill yield, if it is around 6.5 as of now, 6.5%, then time to expiry. So depends on what is the time for your expiry. In case of May contract, it is 1 day. Not even 1 day. Today is the expiry. Practically, we cannot do the. You can do the calculation, but there is no meaning in finding out what is the value of this particular future contract. So instead of that, let's move on to June contract. And June contract will expire on 24th of June. So 24th of June, that means we have 24 plus 3, 27 days. So 27 days divided by 365. 27 divided by 365. This is what we are going to use this. So, and let's say that zero dividend. Let's try to understand this is zero dividend. When there's zero dividend, anyway. And lot size is Reliance, if I'm right, it is 250 is lot size. You can see here, lot size is quoted here, 250. The moment you click on this particular stock future contract, you can see here 250. This is a lot size. And if there is a dividend, we are going to consider, since there is no dividend, you can see here what is the fair value of future contract by considering all the inputs what you have given. So we have discussed about rate of interest. I just took approximately the risk-free rate, whatever we are going to consider, maybe your T-bill yield or whatever it is, 6.5 taken. Then time to expiry, I just did it like 27 divided by 365, because from today for expiring your June contract, we have 27 days. That is 24 days of 24 days in the month of June plus 3 days this month. So approximately 27 or 28 days you can take. Dividend I not considered. I'll tell you how to find out the dividend also. As of now, this is what is the fair price. Fair price is 1991.80, whereas your futures are trading at 1992.7. See, 1 rupee difference for Reliance, the price of now 1900 is not a big deal, because that 1 rupee difference, around 80%, 90% difference will be there because of the volume, because of the traders who trades in the derivative market. Now, this we cannot use it for arbitrage, because practically when you get into trading, you're going to pay brokerage and all. But from the theoretical point of view, or from the academic point of view, there are chances that you can do the arbitrage. How you can do arbitrage? Because we know that here the futures are trading at 1992 and your spot price is 1991.80. That means futures, your fair value is 1991. Okay. Also, if you check your spot price, let us, for time being, let us try to understand, okay, let us try to ignore this fair value, because when it comes to fair value, there'll be a lot of other calculations which we need to get into. Let us try to do arbitrage directly using your spot and future price. Your futures are trading at 1992.7, spot is at 1982.25. If you are able to get this amount, that is 6.5 rupees, 6.5%, if you are able to lend or borrow, then we can do this. Or you can quote whatever the price. Suppose if you're not, you cannot do that. If you, then you can quote 7%. If you quote at 7%, if you can check here, that means approximately the market interest rate, what they're considering for valuation of your future is 7%. At 7%, almost it is matching. So when this is the case, it is impossible to do the arbitrage. Let us keep 7%. If the spot price is instead of 1982, let us assume the spot price is 1970 rupees. So 1970 is a spot price, whereas according to fair value, it is supposed to be 1980, but June contracts are trading at 1992. So here you have an arbitrage opportunity. How we can do arbitrage? I'll tell you. Since futures are trading at premium than the fair value, sell futures. So you're going to sell futures at 1992.70 and buy in the spot market price. You're going to buy at 1970. So when you buy, it is okay. What happens here? When you buy in the spot market, let's assume that, okay, you don't have any funds, you're going to borrow the funds. When you borrow funds, again, we're going to calculate using this continuously compounding interest rate. Suppose if you're going to borrow this, so 1970 into 250 shares, you're going to buy in the spot market, you need 4,92,500 rupees. So what will be the future value? That means with interest, how much you're going to pay. So this into exponential value of this into your interest rate is 7% into time period. You're going to use this money for so many days. So you are supposed to pay for 4,95,506. So instead of this, what we can do is we can directly calculate per share. So your job will become easier. What happens per share? So buy at 1970, so that you're supposed to pay 1980.27. This is the same thing what you're going to get it here, 2-3. So on expiry, what you have to do? On expiry, you sold futures, buy futures. Buy futures, what is the price at which you buy is the question. So we know that unless you want to take physical delivery or you want to give physical delivery, your future contracts will be closed at spot market price. So on expiry, let us assume the spot market price is, it can be anything. Let us assume 2,000 rupees is the spot price. So on expiry, if it is going to be 2,000, on expiry, what happens? Your future contracts also will be closed at 2,000. So what happened here? You sold futures at 1992. What will be your P&L? You sold at 1992 and you are buying at 2000. Practically, you're going to lose 7 rupees 30 paise. But in the spot market, you bought same Reliance Industries by paying 1970. Now you're going to sell that shares at 2000 rupees. You're going to make a profit of 30 rupees. Just add these two, you're going to get your profit or loss. Practically, you can make a profit of 22 rupees 70 paise. This is how you can do the arbitrage. Even if you don't have funds, you can borrow funds, you can do the arbitrage. This is what practically we teach in the class. Instead of teaching whatever in the textbook, let us take one example like this and teach. So your spot price, so what was the spot price? Let's say 1982.2 something it was. Even otherwise, if you are able to get this, you can make a arbitrage profit of 10 rupees here. But please keep it in mind, the brokerage and all what you're supposed to give. Theoretical point of view, for academic purpose, you can do an arbitrage profit of 10 rupee 50 paise by using future contract, apart from your brokerage and taxes. This is how we can try to do an arbitrage using this. Okay, this is pricing of futures. We understood how we're going to do the pricing of futures. If you want to take one more example, let me take an example. Let me take your Nifty futures. Nifty spot is 15,310.9. That is what is a spot. 15,310.9 is the spot price. Then we have Nifty futures which are trading. Index futures. Yeah. So we have May futures which are trading at 15,303. It will be almost same with your spot. Then comes to your June future contracts. June's futures are trading at 15,335, and July futures are trading at 15,000. Sorry, I'm taking previous day's closing price. We to take last traded price. Sorry. And we have July futures. So you can see here at the 7%, your futures as fair value of your future contract, which is expiring in the month of June, is 15,390, whereas it is trading at 15,335. That means there is an arbitrage opportunity for you, right? So this is how we can do the valuation. That means, see, normally, or it can be because they might say that, okay, the interest rate is expected to go down, whatever it is. This is how you can calculate your futures. So when it comes to dividend, let's say that, I don't know with which any company has paid dividend. Let me check TCS. If they paid any dividend, let us try to find out is any dividend which is expected to pay by this company in the near futures. TCS equity. Okay, so spot market it is 3,199.7 is the spot market price for your TCS. Let us try to understand, is any dividend paid by this company? Any corporate action is there? Corporate information, board meetings, annual corporate action. Go to corporate action here. See, 25th May. Actually, this is the X date. Record date is 27th May. Okay, today is the record date. How much of dividend? 15 rupees per share. This already decided. I'll just tell you how to do it. Let's say 15 rupees is a dividend which they're expected to pay, and number of days when this dividend will be paid, we need to be entered here. Let us assume the dividend is expected to pay after 10 days for just calculation purpose. If it is going to be after 10 days, or then you'll get this present value of the dividend. It is simple. Dividend you're expecting 10 rupees after 10 days. That means the present value of the dividend is not the same 15 rupees. That we are going to convert, or we are going to find out the present value of this. For this, we are going to use this formula. Again, present value of this to calculate this, what we do is S0 into e to the power of minus RT. Whenever you're going to find out this, this is the formula we use here. S0 minus I. I is nothing but present value of the dividend. So dividend into e to the power of minus RT. You're going to find out your present value of the dividend. Again, we need to use continuously compounded interest rate. And TCS, what is the future price? You can see here. Let's directly take this June contract. The June contracts futures are trading at 3,000 to 13.30. Spot is there, 15 days. Okay. So it's supposed to be 3,200. They're trading at 3,213 because the dividend what they're expecting is also there. That we need to deduct actually. If there is no dividend, almost the price will be same, 215, 230. Why we don't consider dividend is because this dividend will be paid before the expiry. Once this X date, after 10 days, you can see that, okay, directly the spot price will go down. Then when the spot price will go down, automatically it will get adjusted. It will be at par with your future price. Future will not get adjusted. Okay, this is how we can check your spot and future. Is it okay? Shall I take, if I take all the questions in the end, or you want any clarifications in the futures before we move on to margin calculations and all? Response. The next aspect is in the futures, when it comes to trading, we discussed about margins. So I'm not taking any particular sorry. I'm taking this Zerodha as an example because just for the data purpose, I'm not telling, okay, you trade with Zerodha or something like that. That you should keep it in mind. Just for calculation, they have an option, a future calculator, margin calculator. I'm just going to use that particular margin calculator. So here, if you go to this Zerodha calculator, you can quote here exchange, whatever it is, NSE, NFO. NSE is NFO is nothing but National Stock Exchange Futures and Options. Futures, you have to specify which futures you want to trade. Okay. Let us take same TCS here. TCS, which expiry? Let us take June expiry here. Automatically the lot size will be coming here, and if you give, you will get what is the margin. Now if you look at here, there is something called initial margin, there is something called exposure margin. This initial margin is nothing but your span margin, what they use it. Exchange will be calculating this initial margin based on the span software, what they're going to use. There, all these things will be considered, your volatility of the stocks, your latest volatility of the stocks, and what is expected, all those things, expected price movement. By considering all those things, they're going to calculate this. It is standard which is used by the exchange. This is what is initial margin. And along with the initial margin, all the brokers will be charging this exposure margin, which need to be paid to the exchange. What is this exposure margin is? That is to take care of your mark to market. On a daily basis, there will be some movement in the stocks. So to take care of that mark to market risk, they are going to take this exposure margin. The total you are supposed to pay 2 lakh rupees, 2,111 rupees if you want to trade in TCS. So like this, any stock, any expiry, you can calculate here. Advantage with this is like you can do hedging position also you can calculate. Okay, let's say that, okay, June futures you bought. At the same time, you want to enter into one more contract. That is what we call it as calendar spread. You want to sell July contract. One is you bought June contract of futures. You want to sell July contract. July contract, when you sell, total margin what is required is only 33,000 rupees. The reason is simple. Irrespective of the price movement, your risk will not be more. If price goes up, you are long in June contract. If the price goes down, you are short in July contract. Automatically, that will take care of the mark-to-market risk. So whatever the limited margin is required, that is what they are going to charge you, 33,000 to 33 rupees. Suppose if you remove one contract, so directly you can check here, what will be your margin? It comes to 2 lakh rupees. Like this, you can find out what will be the margin. And when you teach in the classroom, you can take the same margin and calculate, because we have some problems related to your mark to market. Mark to market also, which we are going to teach in the class. Let us take the same example here. The margin requirement also mentioned here. It is 2 lakhs. I'll take a round figure. You can take this 2 lakh rupees, then afterwards you can take maybe last 10 days data, 15 days data, calculate your mark to market. Let us assume a day. Trading price, then we'll be having settlement price. Okay, I didn't teach you how to take the settlement price. Then comes to your MTM margin balance. There is something called margin call. These are the different columns we'll be using. So we need to find out what are the settlement prices. Let's go to historical data. Yes, still we're in TCS. Take settlement price for last 1 week. Let us take from May 17th till yesterday. Stock futures here 2021. Let me take May contract only. This is you can see here different columns along. In that we have something called settlement price. We need to understand there is a difference between last traded price and settlement price. Settlement price is always last half an hour's weighted average price. That is what is called as settlement price. For all M2M, we are going to consider futures closing price or future settlement price. Only at the expiry, we are going to consider spot closing price. That is nothing but last half an hour's weighted average price for your final settlement on expiry. Otherwise, on a day-to-day basis, when you calculate, you need to take this settlement price. By considering this, you can learn how to do mark to market. So here you can mention what are the price at which you're trading. Mention these settlement prices here, calculate MTM. We all know how to calculate MTM. I'm not going to spend much time on this, how to calculate MTM. Just I'm going to tell you how to take the data to calculate your MTM. This is what is the settlement price you need to consider to calculate your mark to market. So once this is done, let's move on to your options. Let me take same TCS. If you want to check any specific option, you should specify which option you want to find out. So instead of stock futures, go to stock options, year 2021, expiry you need to specify. Let us say May expiry. Option type, call option, put option, strike price. Now, how do you decide the strike price? Check the market price, which is close to the market price. Let us take 3,200 is the market price. So strike price, 3,200 you take, filter. You're going to get the prices. Now, how these option prices can be used when it comes to practical learning is the question. So we have different strategies which can be done. See, option valuation and all these things, how to find out the payoff. Payoff is simple, like you find out what is the price at which you buy, what is in the money, what is out of the money. Theoretical aspects I'm not going to discuss here. Practically, when you want to learn these options, let us assume that, okay, students want to learn option trading, how the option trading will be taking place. I'll take one simple example of your bull spread. What is bull spread? Buy lower level call, lower call, and sell higher call. Buy lower call and sell higher call. So what we'll tell them is, let us specify particular date. Let us take an example of May 1st. So we'll ask them to find out on May 1st, what is the spot market price? Let us try to find out what is the spot market price on May 1st. I'll go to NSE again. May 1st. TCS. Again, equity, we need to know the historical data. 1 month, we have the data here already. So May 1st was holiday. May 3rd, we have closing price 3,037. Spot price is 3,037. So we'll ask them to record this price 3,037. So what is bull spread? Now 3,037 means we have different strike prices. We saw here what are the different strike prices. So what is the price interval in terms of strike prices? There is a 40 rupees each 40 rupees difference. We have different strike prices. So now let us assume that means we have a strike price for 3,040 here. 3,040 is there. So we have strike price like 3,000, 2,980, 3,000. Sorry, 3,000. We have 3,040, 3,080. We have 3,120. These are the different strike prices. So below this 2,960. Now you need to decide. You know that bull spread is like, okay, you want to buy one future, one call option, sell one call option, a higher level call option. Higher level call is nothing but OTM, out of the money call option. So let us assume you're expecting this stock to go up to 3060 by expiry, not beyond that. So what you can do is you can buy this 3040 call option. You can buy this 3040 call option. Since you're not expecting it to go beyond 3080, sell this 3080 call option. The price is 3037 on that day. Let's go back and check what is the price of this 3040 and 3080 call option on that day. That is on 1st of May. Instead of 3200, let us take a 3040 call option. Third May, your 3040 call option was trading at 89 rupees. Sorry, last traded price was 87. Let me take it as 87 rupees. You're going to buy this at 87. At the same time, 3080, or you can go beyond that, even a little bit higher also. Let me take 3000, instead of 80, we can take 3120 or 140 call option. Let us take, if there is any trading is happening in this, let us see. 3140 call option. Okay, 3140 call option on 3rd May, it was trading at 46 rupees 65 paise. Yeah, it is trading at 46.65. We'll ask them to construct a strategy. That means you're going to buy futures call option at 87 and you're going to sell call option at 46.65. So when you sell, it will be minus. What is the total amount which you're going to pay is 40 rupees 35 paise. Now, today is the expiry. Today's spot price, we know what is the today's spot price. It is 3,199, 3,200 is the spot price. Now, what happens when the market price is 3,200? So this 3,040 rupees call option, which you bought, we'll ask them to find out what is the payoff because of this. You're going to get 160 rupees. Since you have sold this call option, you'll be having a negative payoff for this. So the negative payoff will be 120. Net, you're going to make a profit of 40 rupees. Actually, net, there is no profit and loss. You paid earlier 40 rupees. Now you're not going to make money. This is because you expected price to go up to 3,140. This is what I did. Suppose if the closing price is instead of 3,000, as you expected, let's say that 3,120 is the closing price, then you're going to make a profit of 100 rupees. Out of this, 3,120. This will not be exercised. This will be 0. You make a profit of 80 rupees because this option will not be exercised. And net profit will be this minus. You're going to make a profit. You're going to make a profit of 40 rupees. Just practically, how to tell them a project. Okay, we'll ask them to give a project on this. Okay, how to use an option in terms of you're doing a project. So whatever we teach them, it can be bull spread, bear spread, or it can be your butterfly or strangle, all those things. You can ask them. We can tell them. Okay, take one particular stock, calculate all these. You do all these calculations, submit a project. This can be done. So with this, what happens? Students also will learn practically. Okay, how we can make use of this data when they get into an industry. They'll be knowing okay where the data is available. And one more last thing, which I'd like to discuss in this is your options calculator. So in the options calculator, we saw this price. So at present, your May contract, let me take June contract, that is better. June stock options, 2021 call option. Strike price, let me take 3,200 only, or 3,300. Last traded price is 36 rupees is yesterday's price. Right. So when you look at this yesterday's price 36 rupees, let us check, is it fair? Underlying asset, what is the price we have to mention here? 3,200. And exercise price is strike price. Strike price what I've taken is 3,400. 3,300 I took, yeah, 3,300. Time till expiry, we have 27 days. Rate of interest, let me quote same, maybe 6.5%. Dividend yields, let us keep 0. Volatility, so let us keep that maybe around 18% of volatility we'll keep. Standard deviation, what we calculate is volatility. Rounding, okay, let us keep 3 decimals, calculate. So when you do this, theoretical value of your call option is 29 rupees 92 paise. Let's go back and check what is the price that it is trading. 33 rupees, 3 rupees difference. There's no abnormal difference in terms of price. Same way, you can check here put option price also. It is 114 rupees. Because the market price is less, your put option will be costlier. You can cross check instead of call option. Let us quote put option. Strike price 3,300. Filter. Yesterday's closing is 159, whereas in according to option, the theoretical price is 114. Why this 114? That means there is an option for you to do arbitrage. How to do arbitrage when there's a price difference? Theoretically, we know you're going to sell, you're going to buy this put option, and you're going to sell in the spot market. We can do the arbitrage. That is possible. Either spot or future market. That is possible. There is one more thing in here. There is something called implied volatility. Here we are going to define what is the volatility, but sometimes it might vary. We have quoted 18% volatility. Your percentage of, your volatility will be more than that. Let us try to understand for same option what is the implied volatility. That means if an option is trading at some price, I just saw this put option is trading at 159.5. I'll quote this. Underlying is 3,200. Exercise price is 3,300. 27 days is for expiry. Interest rate, okay, let me keep saying 6.5. Dividend yield is 0. Here, it will ask you market price instead of volatility. It is 159. Just calculate, it will give you what is the volatility. Volatility is 56%. That means the stock volatility is more. That is the reason your put option is quoting at higher price. So this is also one indicator which can be used to understand what will be practically if you are trading. Not academically, it will not be useful. Since I thought, okay, since you're all tomorrow, if you get into trading, this is what one thing you should keep it in mind when it comes to trading in options. Then after this, we have something called option Greeks and all. Let's not get into option Greeks and all. So this is what I wanted to discuss today. So if anyone has any doubt or anything need to be clarified, let me know. Kolkadi sir, I'm done with the thing. Let's open it for Q&A.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. From amongst the participants, any questions, please? Yeah.
Unmuted.
Yes. We have sufficient time for questions. So can anything needs to be clarified? Anybody has any questions, please? Yes, from amongst the students, anything? In the meantime, if I may request, please, some of you mute yourselves, please. Yeah, thank you. A request to all of you, all of my participant delegates. Within the next 5 minutes or so, we will be forwarding a Google form for your feedback. So kindly spare that little time to fill it up and send us the feedback. We will be very grateful to you. Okay. And secondly, some 5-6 of you have not paid the registration fee, though you have registered all right and we have admitted you. So kindly make the payment so that it will help us to give you these, send you the e-certificate. Okay, but in any case, for all those who have registered and paid, you will get your e-certificates definitely by day after tomorrow. That is by Saturday, you will all get it. Okay, let me assure you that. So long as your mail IDs are correct, it will reach you 100%. Any questions by any of our participants, please, for our resource person?
Yeah, I forgot to mention.
Yeah. Yes,
go ahead.
Rashmi.
Sir,
Yes,
how to collect data for hedging purpose? So if my research is on hedging effectiveness and all, so how can I go for collection of data?
Very valid.
Hedging you are doing, madam. Are you doing direct hedging or cross hedging?
So direct hedging, sir. So I'm doing one research paper like hedging effectiveness of stock index future.
Okay. So you're taking index futures, Nifty or any other index? Madam, are you
Nifty,
taking
sir.
Nifty only, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have a portfolio.
Sir, I don't have any portfolio right now.
You want to construct a portfolio. You want to hedge portfolio, right?
Yes, sir.
So first thing is you should know what is the beta of your portfolio if you want to hedge your portfolio, because that will have different stocks. Let's assume there are 5 stocks. So each stock will have different beta. Just if you want, I can mention here and see and show you. Are you able to see this? Okay, I think Excel sheet. I'll just share this. So first thing is you need to construct your portfolio. You should know what is a portfolio beta. Let's assume you have these 5 stocks. I'll take only 5 stocks here. ACC, then we have ITC, Infi, then HDFC. What else? Motors. These are the 5 stocks, and you're going to invest around 10 lakhs here. You're going to invest around 7 lakhs here, 8 lakhs here, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs. Find out the weightage of these to find out your beta. Then find out how do you find out weightage? Investment in this particular A divided by total investment, you're going to get your weightage. So once you find out the weightage, Okay, so you're going to find out the weightage of this. So 20% like this, you're going to find out. At the same time, you need to find out beta of your stock. You know how to calculate beta of the stock. If beta is, let's say 0.9, ATC is 0.6 or 0.7, Infy is 0.9, HDFC 1.2, Tata Motors 1.1. So find out your portfolio beta, weightage into beta, you're going to get your beta. Total of this will be your portfolio beta. So your portfolio beta is 0.992. So what is your value of your portfolio is 50 lakhs. So that means when you want to hedge your portfolio, you need to know till what time you want to hedge. That is the most important thing. So let us say that, okay, are you working on a month-on-month hedging or yearly hedging? How you are planning to do, madam?
Sir, monthly, sir.
Monthly hedging.
Yes,
So
sir.
monthly hedging, when you want to do, then you should define what is the date for your hedging. Suppose you can say that, okay, every month first you're going to hedge your portfolio, or maybe the first day of your new contract when you start. Like tomorrow, if you want to start hedging, you can do that. There are two ways. One is every last Friday you can start hedging, or every month first. Let us take first of every month. May 1st you want to hedge, June 1st you want to hedge. So when you want to hedge from May 1st, you have to find out what is your portfolio value on May 1st, and also you have to find out the beta of that. If you have that, May 1st, you have to go and check what is the future value which is going to expire in the month of May. For that, you take this derivative data here, Nifty, select the instrument, future index futures, expiry, May 27th, and okay, you need historical data, go to historical data. Let's take it for 1 month. That will do for you now. Uh, 1 month, okay. Index futures, year 2021, expiry May 27th. You'll get this 1 month data. If you filter, you'll get the data for 1 month. So on 1st or 3rd May, this is what is the price of your Nifty future closing. Always we use, see, you can decide whether you want to use opening price for hedging or you want to use closing price. Normally, we are not going to use high or low, either opening or closing. 99% of the researchers will be using closing price. So take this closing price, 14,000 something, whatever we got. This is what is your closing price. You can use this price and start hedging your portfolio. Your portfolio is 50 lakhs. Into your beta of your portfolio divided by the value of your futures. You need to hedge 337. What is the lot size? You can this divided by lot size. Approximately, you need to hedge 5 lots to hedge your portfolio. This is how you're going to get. The data is very simple. You need to define what is the date for which you want. Collect that futures closing price. That is how you're going to hedge your position. Like this, you can collect for even historical, like instead of May, if you want to, okay, same May contract, if you want to, April 1st date, just change it to 3 months, filter, you're going to get it for April 1st data. Okay. Index futures 2021, May expiry. You'll get it for April 1st. Consider this price and check what is the hedging. 15,001 is the price. Same thing, instead of this, you want to use that particular hedging, then it will be 4.4 lots. You need to use it for hedging. This is how you can collect the data. Hope I'm clear.
Yes, sir. It's very much clear. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Yeah. Yeah, somebody was asking question in the beginning about research. See, when it comes to derivatives, how we can do the research? The latest hot cake, what you can say is you are based on option Greeks. So in India, slowly we started getting into trading. That means trading in options using option Greeks. All your option Greeks talks about is like, okay, if when you approach your if there is a change of 1 day, that means 1 day reduces how much of options is supposed to reduce, the prices is supposed to reduce. Or if there's a change in the volatility of, if there's an increase of 1% volatility, how much of your option prices are supposed to increase. That is what it will talk about option Greeks. So you can do a research to find out. So what is the optimal period, or what is the actual changes which is happening? Is it according to the theory? Is it working or not? That can be done by using your historical data. You can do one empirical study that can be done. Or which are the option strategies which will work out at different market conditions? Because since we have seen pandemic, nobody expected that after this pandemic markets are going to go up. Even though we are in pandemic, you can see that we are at a lifetime high in terms of your Nifty, or close to the lifetime high your Nifty or Sensex, but nobody expected this. So if that is the case, what type of strategies will work out? That also can be one type of research can be done based on your historical data. Yes, sir.
Any other question, please, from our participants? From amongst the students, please. The Google form for the feedback has been sent. So please, spend that half a minute to fill it up and send it across back to us. Dean, sir, shall we close?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Professor Satyanarayan, it was a very good presentation. I attended
Yes.
completely, and
Thank you.
the way you presented and the examples that you quoted were really very good. Thank you
Practical.
for
Literally
very
practical.
Yes. Those who are in this line definitely will appreciate more about it, and I'm sure like this is a very good value add to all the participants. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I thank all our participant delegates for your valuable time and come and joined our FDP and made it successful. And of course, thanks to Professor Satyanarayana for most wonderful presentation that we have gone through. And thanks to our Dean also for all his support and encouragement. So I'm still asking if there is any question. Still, we have 1 or 2 minutes more. We can take on.
Kulkarni sir,
Yes,
the program
sir.
was really good. I appreciate Chandan sir for choosing Satya sir as a resource person.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Yes,
among
sir.
us, we have a kind of a gem in a finance faculty. Huh?
Yes.
Yes.
It's my
Yeah.
pleasure.
Yeah.
Thanks for
So,
the
very
Thank
good
you, Ravi.
program, sir. It was very knowledgeable, and he practically explained with even the websites, NSE website. I
Yes.
appreciate. We
you,
expect
Ravi,
more
sir.
such programs.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Ravi, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks to all of my delegates, and see you in the next program. Okay. So some 4 or 5 of you, please, who have not made the payment, please make the payment. And all the very best to all of my participant delegates. Thank you very much. We'll call it a day. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Satya.
Thank you.